Kitesurfing is considered an extreme sport on the island. There's a big group of local kiters who hit the water whenever the natural elements line up. As you can imagine, this is quite often since Aruba is one of the few places in the world with wonderful weather and wind 365 days a year. Take a look. In Aruba, kitesurfing is known as a water sport that involves using wind power with a large power kite to pull a rider across the ocean. It combines aspects of paragliding, surfing, windsurfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, and wakeboarding. The popular activity certainly paints an incredible sight in the sky, which draws curiosity from locals and tourists alike. Zoe Loefstok started kiting when she was 10 years old. She gave her first lesson at her dad's kitesurfing school at the young age of 14. She grew up in the family business and is passionate about the sport and being an instructor. The community of kitesurfers has grown on the island significantly. The sport has also evolved tremendously.
Kitesurfing has gotten extremely safe over the past 20 years. When my dad started kiting, he was one of the first kitesurfers of the island. And they weren't using harnesses, they weren't using a chicken loop, they weren't using any type of safety. So you would just like fly away, you know? And then I think about 10 or 15 years ago, they started using more of a safety system, and it made it also more accessible for women. Because when I started kiting, there was really a limited amount of women kiting. And now there's so many more women in the water, which is really nice. And so many people try it out because it's much safer.
Here is a peek into one of Zoe's lessons from her personal cell phone. Zoe says first-time students are often nervous and hesitant. They worry about not being strong enough to pull themselves up. But Zoe says her job as an instructor is to build kitesurfers and set them up for success, leaving them with nothing to worry about but to enjoy the experience. Zoe's job may be a kitesurf instructor, but doing what she does is a lifestyle choice, she says, and a state of mind.
Most of the people who kitesurf have important core value in common, which is freedom. Kitesurfing is really a sport where it gives you so much freedom. You have the wind blowing through your hair, you're in the water. So that's one of the big aspects, like for me, I think. And also you meet a lot of interesting people from around the world. That's super beautiful, and you connect with the sport, you know? Yeah, it's a family business. I grew up in it. So it's also a little bit of my core aspect of my life, you know? When you go kiting, you see your friends kiting, and you're like, hey, or you kite to Arashi together and back, and that's a really nice feeling.
There's a real sense of community in the kitesurfing culture. Being connected to the elements such as wind, water, and people are essential to the overall kitesurfing experience. It's hard not to be captivated by the sport. Tourists are naturally curious when they see the kites flying in the air, which prompts them to want to learn more. If a visitor decides to take on the experience, it can really add to their holiday.
Like, we have a lot of people booking online, but also a lot of people just, because it's such a nice beach walk along the strip, and a lot of people, like, they have no idea what kitesurfing is whatsoever. Like, a lot of people just come and ask me, like, what's that? I want to do that. Online, I promote it as a way of, like, staying healthy and staying present while on vacation. Because a lot of people just, like, lay on the beach, which is also nice, but also having an aspect of having more adventure while you're on vacation. Also, it's an exercise.
While sitting there with Zoe, there wasn't one moment where I didn't see her passion for the sport come through. I'm not a very adventurous person, but she did make me want to hop on a board to give the sport a go. I didn't, but it crossed my mind. The very next day, Zoe gave kitesurfing lessons to 2 visitors of the island who purposely made a return trip just to give it a go. Here's what they had to say about their experience.
Okay, we're here in Aruba with Jessica and Aaron. Jessica and Aaron, tell us where you're from.
Hey, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
Colorado, okay. We just have a few questions about kitesurfing for you. Why did you decide to take a kitesurfing lesson on this trip?
I'd say we were ready for a little adventure and fun, trying something new. Definitely once in a lifetime opportunity.
Drove by, saw the kites on our last trip, thought we could just show up and do it. but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So you guys came back and decided to really come for kite surfing.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Okay. And how much does this experience add on to your vacation in Aruba?
100%. That was pretty much the reason why we came back. Well, amongst the great food and people.
Good.
But
Yes.
we came back because we really wanted to try like a full class of lessons so we could really have a chance at not just slamming our faces in the water all day.
Yeah, and definitely Aruba was up there as one of the top places to learn to kite surf. So the wind and the water and the people like make the experience just
Exactly.
amazing.
There's wind the whole year around here, so it's perfect. All right. And how would you describe kite surfing to people who've never done it before? If you have any tips or...
Challenging, but totally worth it.
Absolutely. You're going to go out of your comfort zone, and that's okay because you have great instructors and learning something new.